Okay, welcome to the channel. This is Max again with another lettering video. This one's called Lettering Your Hubcaps to Match Your Car. Not a very common thing to do. Turns out one of my subscribers sent me a note and Mr. Torres said, I would like to paint the letters of the chrome hubcaps of my 1946 Ford. Do you have a video on how to do it? Or can you let me know what kind of paint I'm going to need for it? Well, Mr. Torres, it turns out, being an old sign painter, one shot is for everything. Like everything. But it turns out that when you letter onto glass or to something chrome or anything that's not porous, it turns out one shot's really good about sticking. But if you work real hard, you can get it off. Well, I have a 1949 Mercury, and I've been dealing with old cars for a very long time. And I happen to know that old car people are really nice to their cars when they like washing them and stuff. So to be able to paint letters onto a chrome hubcap, I'll show you a better picture. The paint's going to stick to it pretty good, and you don't have to worry about washing it off or scrubbing it off unless you get pretty rough with it. But the other thing is that if you do, well, you know how to letter it. You just touch it up. You'll be good at it. I just want to say that when I started painting in 1978, I started painting a little in 77. But in 78, I was working at a Miracle Auto Paint. I was sanding cars and I was practicing with, and I had a paint kit. And the owner came to me and we had a Ford pickup truck with the tailgate with the indented letters. Not far off from this hubcap. They take the word Ford really big on the tailgate. And he goes, we need this to look stock. Can you paint those letters in there? And I went, heck yeah, I can. It took me like an hour, hour and a half. And then I had to go back to work. I got to stop, paint those letters on, and go back to work. So I took my time. So in other words, I was getting paid for sitting there lettering that and learning on the job because I was a sander. I sanded cars for a living back when I was a kid. And holy schmoly, it's nice to do lettering and make the same amount of dough. Anyway. So today we're going to break out the paint kit and I'm going to letter this on here for you. Oh, Mr. Torres sent me this hubcap so I can letter it and make this video for y'all. And when I'm going to paint it, I'm going to send it back to him. And then he's going to letter the rest of them on his own, which I think is awesome. I've been getting some great emails from people that are asking pretty wild questions. Actually, they've been asking me stuff that I didn't know the answer to. And so we've been working stuff out together, which is exactly what I wanted to do for this whole YouTube thing. And it's great. So everybody gets to learn. So let's get going on this hubcap. Okay, this thing was pretty little. I was a little nervous. I thought it was going to be tougher than it was. It's no different than putting fingernail polish on your girlfriend's toes. Right there. Pushing that brush into the corner, sliding back along that groove. Turns out this is a lot easier than it looks, to me. But I think you'll find it not such a problem for you. But of course, now that I have a camera on me and everybody's watching me, I want to do the best job I can possibly do. The brush I'm using here is a number 3 MAC 179L. I love that 179L series. It's a little older brush, so it's kind of smaller. If I was going to start with a brand new brush on this, I would use a 1. But that 3 worked out pretty perfect for me. This is a neat thing on that O. I set the brush in, pushed a little forward, drag a little sideways, and then down through that groove on the left. That's how you work with these. If the letter is raised, instead of set down in, you got to make it look pretty good. You got to follow that line pretty good. But these are pretty easy. At the end of each letter, I want to gently go back over the whole thing to make sure it's uniformly flat. Even if you took a hubcap that already had paint on it and you wanted to change the color of the paint, because I think they only come in red, but if you had a blue car, and go back over the, clean it off, of course, go back over the color that's on a hubcap or an emblem on the hood or something, and that way you can change the color to match your stuff. On stuff like this, I want the viscosity of the paint to be as thick as possible, but still have some flow to it. So I'm loading up some extra paint, a little less thinner in here, and I load up the brush, and then I take a bunch of the paint back out so it doesn't glop on when I set it on there. And that way it's got a nice even flow to it. Okay, right there on the D. That's the reason I'm working off the tip. You drag it down, you're going to bump into the edge of this thing. Simple enough. You wipe it off, clean up the edges, and keep going. Halfway through this, I realized I didn't wipe the hubcap off. Should have used a little acetone or something on that chrome, a little something to make sure that no juice on it came from the factory or there's wax or something. You'd figure it out pretty fast if there was, and then you'd remember to wipe it off where I didn't. But it looks like it's sticking pretty good. It's going to look good. And there it is, folks. You take a little brush, you letter in your own stuff. Yes, it's true. You can buy these hubcaps with the color already in there. I don't know if they silk screen them or what they do. They're pretty sturdy. But knowing that you paint your own stuff, that sometimes you have to fill in the emblem on the front of the hood. Sometimes you gotta paint the thing around the button on the glove box. Sometimes you gotta do stuff on your own just to make it yours. And that's what makes doing some of this stuff awesome. Yeah, it's a little teeny thing that no one's probably gonna notice. Well, guess what? That's sign painting. Get used to it. That's why you gotta paint some cool shit. Anyway, thanks for watching. Press that like button, and you know what? Don't just press it. Let's get ugly with this. Oh boy. And don't forget, subscribe, because you know what? It's all about subscribing, baby. I'll subscribe to your channel because you're awesome. Subscribing's awesome! Okay, thanks. See you later.